It was mid-July, and as the summer warmth embraced us, we were about to embark on our first multi-day sailing trip. We decided to sail to the Toronto Islands and dock at the Hanlan's Point mooring wall for the weekend, with an overnight stopover at the halfway point at the Cathedral Bluffs Yacht Club in Scarborough. On the morning of our departure, the marina was calm and quiet. Likewise, Lake Ontario was calm, but for a sailboat, it meant motoring. So we hooked up the Simrad tiller pilot and let it steer the Odyssey westward. On board with us for this first leg of the trip was Ken, one of our sailing friends. Well, this is the start of our trip to Toronto. We're on our way to Scarborough Bluffs. We're going to stay overnight at the Cathedral Bluffs Yacht Club. And then the following morning we sail to Toronto Islands. But as you can see, there's no wind. So we are just motor sailing right now and hoping for some wind. The forecast has been kind of all over the map, all over the place. We were expecting wind from the southeast, south, with at least 6-7 knots of wind, but that hasn't materialized. We have the Simrad tiller pilot on. Then after a couple of hours of motoring, a light wind manifested itself. We turned off the engine and we were sailing. After about 2 hours, 3 hours of motoring, because it's already past noon, we're sailing now. It's still light winds, but at least we're sailing. The motor is off. And we're gliding gently on the water. But the wind died not even an hour later, and we were back to motor sailing again. Today, the Simrad tiller pilot was pulling double duty. We motored all the way to the channel entrance to the bluffs, on our way to the Cathedral Bluffs Yacht Club visitor dock and to check in. This is where we said goodbye to Ken. It
No,
wasn't the sailing that
listen,
we expected, but the company made the time
thanks
go
all
by
goes to you.
quickly.
I'm so grateful. She doesn't sail very well. She doesn't catch the wind all that well.
No, can't find the wind.
No, I'm going to spread that around in the marina.
Yeah.
It doesn't find the wind.
So here we are at Cathedral Bluffs Yacht Club. We're just here for the night. It's a stopover on our way to Toronto Islands. So behind me you could see that we set up the tarp overnight because we're gonna get some weather overnight. And on the following morning we're gonna get some wind. It's raining right now. We set up the salon for tonight. This is where we're gonna sleep. We're just gonna wait for a lull in the rain.
There's no lull in the rain. It's going to rain like this for a while.
While we were having dinner at the CBYC restaurant, a weather system passed over the area as forecasted. So, when the storm passed over, we were inside the restaurant having dinner. We could see the thunderstorms and the heavy winds and the lightning. I could see Odyssey from where I was sitting, and the tarp was just ballooning up, and we were just concerned that it was just going to escape and fly away. The weather forecast is calling for rain for the rest of the evening and overnight. The next day, the sun was peeking through the trees. We left early in the morning so that we can make good progress sailing to the Toronto Islands. Once we left the protection of the bluffs and out on Lake Ontario, we set the sails for Reef Main and Genoa. The winds coming from the northwest called for a close haul tack all the way. Hardly any wind here. It's not steady. We're almost there to Toronto. Didn't expect it to be this fast, but we had to win. So it's on our starboard side, you see the Scarborough water treatment.
Kind of lost a bit of our wind, or just sort of fizzled out on us.
It's not very steady, but we are expecting gust of winds that are in the 12, 13, 14 knots.
Yeah. It's making for a comfortable sail, so there's no point in changing that. We're just making good time. As long as we get there, that's all that matters.
And the gust did deliver as we quickly sailed past Scarborough. With the strength of the wind off her starboard bow, Odyssey heeled over, and we were in for one of our most exhilarating sails this season. As we approached the headland of Tommy Thompson Park, we tacked back and forth to try and enter through the eastern gap to get into the inner harbor of Toronto.
It's a party boat flotilla. Everybody's going out to get soaked on a nice windy day. Unless the winds have subsided. And there's this one powerboat. Looks like it wants to head straight for us. Going to create a little bit of wake. Thank you.
We eventually furled the headsail and turned on the engine. Docked at the terminal was a Viking cruise ship that sailed the 5 Great Lakes. Then, just like that, Odyssey was motor sailing into the inner harbor of Toronto, her first time ever, and our first time on our own sailing boat, though we have sailed here before on other sailboats.
That's Kajima. Or is that Kajama? Damn, I remember coming close to that boat. I said, man, this thing is huge. It doesn't look that big anymore. And that's a skyline right there. A lot of buildings. And back there, those buildings over there, that's Etobicoke, the Humber Bay. And all the way down at the other end, that's a Mississauga, or Port Credit. So we're going to be heading somewhere over there. You see the Toronto Island Ferry going across us. And we'll be heading out towards where those, just in the stern of the Toronto Island Ferry right now. That would be Hanlan's Point. There's the Toronto Island Airport. Kind of aiming for it because Hanlan's Point is just off to the left of the airport landing strip.
We motored into Blockhouse Bay where the Hanlan's Point mooring wall is located to tie up for the night. We didn't stick the docking perfectly, but we did make it. And it's always a good learning experience for us for the next time. This is it for now. Come join us again for the next episode of the sailing trip. I put out videos of my sailing, travel, and outdoor adventures. If this interests you, tap on the subscribe button and the bell to be notified of a new video being published. For now, Fair winds to all.